Aloha, this is KEALE again. We're looking at the actual, I call this the stone compass, yeah? And it also is what I would consider the real Hawaiian star compass. There may be others like it on the island. This is the one that I know of. And it has many, many uses that can be talked about. We talked about a few of them, but today we're going to be looking at the calendrical use of this stone compass. So we'll start with the basic elements, yeah? Again, la, hina, kane, kanaloa, piko, makani, ahi, aina, nakupuna. 8 on the outside, 1 in the middle. This one in the center, piko, yeah? That's us. That's the person. We orient ourselves. So the beginning of everything, of all observation, is to look inside, yeah? To ask ourselves, whose child are we, yeah? That's what this place, Kukani Loko, is all about. So if we go to the equinox, let's say we're going to start in, we're going to start in March, okay? So if we were to say March, around the 20th, what we call kind of like the western equinox, you have March, April, May, June, summer solstice, yeah, June 20th. So you have a few days standstill, June, July, August, back to the equinox, September, yeah? So the equinox and the sun again is all rising and setting in different spaces, yeah, different stations along this continuum here. So if we're back here in September and we're going October, November, over here we are again at the next solstice, which is December solstice, yeah? So December, stand still for a day and a half or so, or 2 days, the sun will rise, everything will rise in the same space. December, January, February, March, again, back to that equinox. So that's one way that this stone would have been used in order to mark the seasons, yeah? Over here, you have June, the different equinoxes. Over here is December, okay? Back behind me is the Ko'olau Range. Over in that direction is, or actually over here is the Waianae Range. Back in this direction is the Ko'olau Range. If you want to break it down even further, we take, like I have these little shells that I use, you know. I put them in here, inside these spaces, okay. If you want to get more specific in terms of marking times and days and things like that, it looks more like this. Okay, so it takes a second here to get these all laid out, but let's say this is how we're going to go with teaching and using this stone to teach calendrical functions, yeah? So, put these on here. So now let's break it down even more so. If you think about the Hawaiian calendar, you have to remember that we are not talking about 7-day weeks. In Hawaii, we're talking about, in our families, we're talking about anahulu. So an anahulu is 10 days, okay, instead of 7 days, as opposed to 7 days. So here, let's say we started here, and this is going to be, of course, June, right? So if we wanted to, instead of just saying June, July, August, September, we would say, here's one anahulu, yeah? 10 days here, 10 days here, 10 days here, 10 days here, 10 days there, between those two spaces, 10 days here, between the lua, actually, okay? 10 days here, 10 days here, another 10, and we're at 90, okay? So there's 90 days from this season to that season, from the June solstice to the September equinox, 90 days, okay? So we're gonna go 100 days, 110 days, 120 days, 130 days, 140 days, 150 days, 160, 170, and what do we have here? 180 days. So this is actually the equivalent of half a year, a perfect year. 180 days, okay? So from this solstice to that solstice, 180 days, 18 anahulu, okay? And then we go, of course, we go back And of course, if we have 180 this way, guess how many we have going back this way? 180. So we have exactly 360 days. Give or take a 5, right, on these ends, which we have extra days over here, right? That's why we call it the solstice, because the sun is not appearing to move along the axis at all during those days. It's just winding down and getting ready to move in the other direction. So this is a basic calendrical use of this stone, okay? Just to break it down a little more so than just simply by months. We break it down by now, Anahulu. This is a really deep thing, you guys, right here. All of this. These spaces are going to be used to mark plenty things. So anyway, basic calendrical use. We're here. This is the stone compass. The greatest tool in Hawaii. At least I would say so. But who am I? Oh,